More on travel and... Wait, when you put more and on together, that's a compound word. Take out the E. There you go. History, two S's, it's a hard S. And spread it out. History. Yeah, that's more like it. Welcome to More on Travel and His Story. I thought I would start out with something I know the most about, my own local history. You all know the story about the pioneers that traveled from New York over into this territory back in 1947 in their covered station wagons. A little about these people. The wealthier people could afford the wood on the side of their Willys. You know, the Willys wagon. You notice the Willys? You know, the Willie Handcart Company. You know these people. This wood was good for not only weather and protection, it guarded against these wild dogs that like to sneak up and steal your hamburgers. Some didn't have enough for wood to cover their wagons. These would be the open wagons. And that was a little harsh because it was chilly, you know? Kind of like having your air conditioner stuck on high when it's 50 degrees. And I don't mean like 50 degrees in the spring when it feels good. It's like 50 degrees in the fall when you think you're gonna die and Snowmageddon is gonna take you. Then it got worse. There were those that were more poor. Poorer? I know which one it is. They couldn't even afford a motor. They had to pull their wagons. These are the handcart pioneers. Now I have to apologize for these bad pictures. The digital cameras back then were terrible. They were made out of wood. Some of them out of the same wood they made their wagons out of. Now these pioneers would travel along until certain areas like winter quarters, and then they would just pop out their tents and camp right there. Whew, that has got to be cold. It was cold, but they made it. Well, most of them did. And when they finally made it to this territory and settled, they got together and said, you know what, we need an educational institution where you can bring your utes. I cannot do a New York accent to save my life, but that's how they talked. You don't believe me? We have some historical footage to show this term. Here is somebody's cousin Vinny.
Is it possible the two utes?
Two what?
Yes, that was Herman Munster. Just goes to show that you can do anything, even if you're a monster. He got a facelift, went to college, became a judge.
Did you say utes?
Yeah, two utes.
What is a ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Two youths.
And there you go, utes. Here we have a picture of the first students at BYU back in something like 1960, something like that, I'm not sure. The slogan is right on the sign. It says, bring 'em young. I know it looks like it's spelled differently, but IGHA is pronounced Inga, you know, like from Sweden or Switzerland. I know which one it is. I know because I've been there. We went there, my wife got me this nice hat. It says I look like a happy German, and who doesn't need more happy Germans in their life? Bring 'em young and raise 'em right. This institution was so successful, we even got our own chapter of Utes, the Utah Utes. And a couple times each year, these two chapters love to come together in peace and harmony and joy and celebrate the greatness of this fine institution. Thanks for joining me on More on Travel and His Story. Join me again soon, will you?